very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian, and joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
Time travel for when you absolutely needed to get it done yesterday, and 3 years ago, and a decade ago.
It's a shame there aren't more good time travel games. There aren't that many. I totally understand why. It's hard to pull off, but it's a shame that there aren't more of them. Your co-host, Julie.
Hello from the great scorching north.
Oh, you in that heat wave that a lot of other places are in right now?
We're having a heat wave, but not a good one.
Not like the song. Your co-host, Thorsten.
Oh, hello from the cloudy Germany.
It's cloudy here too, and I'm glad for it because it cools things down a bit. And your co-host, David.
First of all, I miss you, Jacob. Please take care of yourself. Also,
Yeah.
is Control X and Control V a way of fast travel?
What? What's that? I don't.
Cut and paste.
Oh God. Kinda, I guess. So Jacob, yeah, as you heard, Jacob is not here. He's not feeling well today. So Jacob, if you're listening, hope you feel better. Get better soon. Hope it's not COVID. Hope whatever it is you get through quickly. So folks, you may remember a couple of weeks ago, I believe, we had a topic covering traversal in gaming. Games that are fun to move around in, games that are fun to, get to point A to point B. And when fast travel came up, it was suggested we do a separate topic on it. So here we are. So I was trying to remember the first game that I recall having fast travel, and I was having real trouble thinking of the first game I recall with fast travel. It might have been like, can you guys think of the first game that you played that had a fast travel mechanic? Because I'm having trouble.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I can.
World of Warcraft.
First. Okay, that was a good example.
That's a very good example.
Okay, so mine goes back even further.
Okay.
Ultima 3.
Oh.
Yes.
So in Ultima 3, you have what are called the moon gates, and they open only during specific phases of the moon, but they act as teleport points to travel to other parts of the universe. So that is the first fast travel system I can think of.
Oh. You might be right. I don't know. Did Daggerfall have one? I'm thinking Daggerfall had something.
Well, Ultima 3 was in 1983.
Right. Was it 83? Was it that long ago?
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
God, Ultima 3 was in 83. I'm just trying to think of the first game that I could recall that I played. Not the first game, period, but the first game I remember playing that had a fast travel mechanic. I think Daggerfall had something, but I'm sketchy on it. Like, I know you could pay to ride on a horse, which is a different type of fast travel, but I think it also had something where you could teleport to a city you've been to, but I can't quite. I guess I'm gonna.
If I remember it correctly, even Arena had already a fast travel in it.
Oh, okay. So maybe it was Daggerfall then, because I played that before Arena. Like Daggerfall was my intro to the Elder Scrolls series. That might have been the first for me. David and Thorsten, can you remember the first game you played that had fast travel in it?
Honestly, I don't remember it.
Yeah, it's
Really,
tough.
I don't remember it.
It's become such a thing now that I racked my brain for hours trying to think of it, and the first thing I could think of was Daggerfall, and that was only just now.
Does the little ball going back and forth between the screens and Pong count? That went pretty fast after a while.
In what?
Pong.
Oh.
Pong. That's the first game I ever played. The first computer game, Pong.
Same. That was the first video game I also ever played.
I mean, the original asteroids had a pretty nice fast travel option. You leave the screen on one side and end on the other side again.
Does that actually?
Well, I mean, that's just screen wrapping, really. I mean, Pac-Man did the same thing, where you exit on one side of the screen and you appear on the other side. It's just screen wrapping.
No, I was joking around.
Right. But Brian asked if it actually counted, and no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I didn't think it did, but I couldn't. It's tough. Go ahead.
Well, when I first started playing World of Warcraft, I was used to playing Ultima Online. They said, "You want to get someplace? Well, there's your horse." And then I walked into Ironforge, and I was wowed by the gates of Ironforge. And they say, "How you want to get someplace? Take a bird." What? Take one of these little birds over here. Hop on it. They'll take you to whatever. And I said, wow, I was amazed. And I said, I don't have to walk there or ride there. And at the time, it was kind of a novel thing. But, that's when I first started to play video games. World of Warcraft was new and dinosaurs roamed the earth.
Oh, I remember the bird thing in World of Warcraft. So yeah, I think the problem with that I was having trying to remember the first game I played has become so ubiquitous now. Like it seems like I think there have been a few games that came out recently with big maps that didn't have any kind of fast travel, and I was like, what are they doing? How could you not? But I don't know if there's any kind of rebellion against fast travel now, but like I've heard of some games that just don't have it, at all, even on a large map, which interests me because
what I don't really understand, to be honest, because I mean it's like not the game minding your time.
That's the thing I like about fast travel, and I think its biggest benefit is it helps the play. It shows that the game understands it minds the player's time, like you said, and a lot of times fast travel is done really well. There are a couple, like, I want to start with the negative and get it out of the way, and there's one instance where I don't like the fast travel system that I wanted to talk about, and that's my beloved Lord of the Rings Online. With Lord of the Rings Online, there's a kind of a fast travel system where you could pay a horse to take you someplace, but that doesn't always get you where you need to go. You might have to have multiple stops. If you want to instantly teleport to a place, you have to use one of these coins, like mithril coins. And the only way you can get mithril coins, like sometimes you can get them through quests, but the best way to get them is to actually pay money for them. And that is, I've not. It's kind of what took me out of Lord of the Rings Online. It's like, this is not respecting my time as much as I would like. And I find as I get older, I need games to respect my time more. Maybe that could be another topic. Games that respect our time. That could be fun.
Well, that's also a question of patience too, because it's not always time. It can just be, well, I don't want to do all this reading to get the lore. I just want a quest marker.
That's true.
But in some cases, not reading the lore and just skipping it and then getting screwed over because the player didn't take the time to read, they blame the game and not themselves for not taking the time to read the lore. That gave them the clues they needed.
What were we going to say, Julie?
You were saying, Julie?
Well, another negative example is a game that had fast travel but didn't do it right, and that's Warhammer Online. And the other podcast I'm on, we started out for a while, we were doing Warhammer Online podcast. They divided everybody down. Two halves, like on one side was like, imagine it would be like the Alliance and the Horde, but you couldn't cross over. And what's more is they had fast travel, but they were so few and far between that it took half a forever to get to the next fast travel point. I quit the game for a long time. When I came back, I was so lost, and took so long to get to the next fast travel point. I just said to hell with it and logged off again.
Ugh. Oh, that sucks. Like, yeah, that's a weird implementation, isn't it? Like, if you're gonna have fast travel, just have a liberal amount of places I can fast travel to, or let me fast travel anywhere. You know, don't like give me like 3 points across the whole damn globe. It's like it sounds.
Well, it depends again on how it's done, because to some people that's actually okay. To some, it's okay. Like with Dragon's Dogma, we mentioned this before in the show about Traversal, that you can take a wagon somewhere that you've never been, and if you want to take a nap, that you take a nap, and then if nothing would have interdicted you along the way, then you just wake up and you're already there. If you get attacked, then you wake up and then you're dealing with it. It's a lot like the way that Rebel Galaxy Outlaw handles that. But there are teleport crystals that you can get, and they're not very common, but you can use them to set up teleport points, and so you build your own fast travel network.
Okay, so that's I feel like that works because you have multiple alternatives. I feel like that works because it gives you multiple options to fast travel, which sounds better than the here's 3 points on the entire globe to fast travel. Like, if that Warhammer game also had some kind of teleport crystal mechanic that you could build your own little fast travel thing with, I think that would make a lot more sense. Like, these are the main ones, but you can also build your own. I think
or setting up an active teleport point. This is your home base kind of thing.
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. Like if you're going to have it like so spread out like that, give the player other options, I suppose, to mitigate the primary method of fast travel.
The other thing that I should mention is teleporting in Dragon's Dogma is instant, but taking the wagon actually takes real game time, and some quests are timed. So that's a factor that if you haven't accounted for it, you could try to get there and then the person you're trying to save is already dead because you took too long. But again, that's a thing you, the player, have to account for in your risk reward sort of calculus.
Yeah, I was about to. My next question was going to be like, it's pretty obvious, but we should talk about it. The downsides of fast travel. Even if a game has a good fast travel system, what are the downsides of fast travel? And it's the loss of experience and loot and other stuff that you can get along the way if you go, manually. Like, I found in my current Diablo 4 playthrough, more often than not, I'm not using fast travel. The only time I'm using fast travel is like, oh, I died twice. I need to get my stuff repaired now. I'm going to fast travel to this place that I know has a blacksmith, so I can repair my stuff. But more often than not, I've been spending time running through the world because I want to run into those mobs to kill them. But
it's always nice to have options for fast travel.
Exactly.
Portal scrolls or wagons like in Dragon's Dogma, or teleport points that you could set up somewhere.
Yeah.
Those are always great to have, but not all games have them and not all games do them well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's good when it gives the player the choice to use them or not. Like again, Diablo, like there's fast travel, like it's very easy to fast travel all over the place, but you don't have to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but like there are games recently where I've decided never to use fast travel because I want to be in the world more. I think that's another downside to fast travel, is you lose out on that a little bit. Like my latest playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077, I think I fast traveled in 80 hours. I think I fast traveled once or twice. the rest of the time I was riding around my motorcycle because it's such a great place to spend time in. And they're like fun little random things all over the place that I didn't want to miss any of that.
The only time I ever fast travel in Skyrim is when I have shopping to do, and each person who's selling things has a finite amount of gold or whatever they're looking for. Other than that, I'm always like, I'm going to walk, let me off this damn carriage. I want to fight whatever's along the way. And you get all these quests, and it's like, wow, it's a shame to fast travel.
Yeah, that I feel like that is the big downside to fast traveling is you miss out. You could miss out on a lot of stuff that you might not get otherwise. I mean, I'm glad the option is there. I'm very glad the option is there. But like, it's always nice not to do it. Like, I think some of the most fun we had, like in Far Cry Spaz, is when I don't think can you fast travel in Far Cry? Because if you can, we rarely did. We
did on occasion, yeah.
Yeah, we did sometimes.
Like toward the end of a mission, or if we were trying to go to a specific place, and it would take a lot more time to get there than if it would take more than 5 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't local to that area, then sure, we'd fast travel. Or if it was on another island kind of deal.
Yeah, but a lot of times we had more fun getting into that little aircraft.
The gyrocopter.
The little gyrocopter and getting there ourselves. You know, that was a lot more fun. And I'm finding the same thing with Just Cause 4 that I started playing because of you.
You're welcome.
I'm so bad at it. I die so. I'm worried. I'm worried my reflexes are too bad for it now. I just die so many times.
No, you're probably dying about as often as I am, which, to be fair, is about right.
Oh, okay. All right, maybe I'll keep at it then.
Yeah, from what you described, yeah, dying a lot is just part of the experience, and you do have fast travel options in that. Like I've airdrop.
I've never used one because it's so much more fun to flip around with the parachute.
Well, what's nice about it is when you get airdropped in Just Cause 4, you can glide all the way down. You can use your wingsuit, aim yourself toward the ground, and get there a lot faster. You can do a halo jump if you really want to, treat it like a halo jump, or you can use the rockets that are on your jetpack and cause some aerial destruction to, say, the blimps that are around, the observation blimps, because those are a target.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So,
I've seen those.
Loads of options.
And it's great because, like, even if you don't want to fast travel, you still have loads of options with your parachute and your wingsuit. You could take a vehicle, and it's a lovely world to spend time in. I'm really enjoying it. So I'm finding I don't really have the inclination to fast travel, like at all.
What I do is a hybrid. I use if it's close enough that I can get to the area via wingsuit, I'll do that by dropping in, and then once I get into the area, I'll drop in a vehicle or some weapons, and then I'll go in and cause some havoc. So it's a hybrid of the two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other reason is because getting there with a vehicle is a difficult thing because you tend to get shot up on the way there, and your vehicle doesn't last longer than you do.
That's fair.
So
I do enjoy taking a vehicle and driving in that game, but at the same time, yeah, you do feel like you're a bigger target in a vehicle in that game. Unless you could steal a helicopter, then that's great. They'll shoot you down pretty quickly in that too. So. But yeah, I mean, even that map is huge. Like, I'm sure
it really is.
I'm sure as I expose more of the map, I probably will use fast travel a little more. But that map is ginormous. Like, oh my god. And that's another thing I wanted to get to. Like, with maps that are that big, sometimes it's really nice to have fast travel options. Like, have you guys ever played Fuel, the racing game?
I have
No.
not.
Okay.
No.
The map on that thing is egregiously large. It is, I think, one of the biggest maps in gaming. Like, it's huge. And like the first race takes 20 to 30 minutes. It's just one get to point A to point B race. And it's for a race, it is long. Because in most racing games, races are 5 minutes, 10 at the most. This is like a 30-minute drive a long way to get to another point. But thank goodness, once you get to that point, they open fast travel. It's like, oh God, okay, thank goodness. I did not want to drive 30 minutes back. This is not Los Angeles. I did not want to commute in my game.
I mean, real world, people actually do take private planes from one side of LA to the other to avoid traffic.
I hate it. I know. I hate it.
I absolutely hate it.
I hate it so much.
But it's a real deal because
yeah, no,
that's the way the city got built out.
Goodness. Yeah, and the car lobbyists, got rid of all the public transportation decades ago.
Yep.
That's why it's so terrible. That's a whole nother podcast. But I mean, I guess that's like the biggest negative to me for fast travel is that you're missing out on the world. So I found it's weird depending on the game. I used to do it all the time. I used to like any game that had fast travel, I'd be like zip, 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 zip. But now I don't know why, as I'm getting older, I'm like, no, I want to spend more time in this world. I don't want to zip, zip, zip everywhere. It's weird. I can't quite explain why that is.
It depends a lot on the game, though.
It does. It does.
I mean, don't forget that. Let's say 10, 15 years ago, and you had a game with a large map. There was not much to do if you traveled.
That's fair. That's fair. But they're getting better at filling those. They're getting better at filling those maps in now.
Right. I mean, you mentioned Cyberpunk, and it was similar to me. I actually used fast travel once or twice in the game because just running around and driving around was so much fun. It was part of the gameplay.
It's a shame because the initial fast travel mode for that game that never got implemented, at least officially, was a subway. You were supposed to be able to get on the subway and like ride the subway.
And then they added it later.
Yeah, a mod added it later, but apparently it's not very good. But I haven't even tried it.
No, they added it in officially.
Did they? Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They did recently, and that was after my latest playthrough. I completely forgot about that.
Yes. Yep.
That was after I finished Phantom. I almost called it Phantom Menace. What is it called? Phantom something? What the hell is it called?
Phantom Liberty.
Thank you. Oh, my brain. Yeah, so that was after I finished Phantom Liberty. And decided to take another break. I will revisit that game at some point because it's such a fun world to be in. That I am definitely going to revisit that game at some point, probably in a year or so. So I guess we've talked about some of the negatives about fast travel. So now we can move on to the positives. And I think we already touched on the biggest positive is that it helps a game respect your time. Because I mean, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I don't have half an hour to devote to a game. I've got 15 minutes. So it's really nice to have that option to just be like, okay, I have to stop now. I'm going to zip to town and stop here. And I really like when games have that option. I wish more did, honestly. I'm playing through Guardians of the Galaxy right now, for example. And while it has a fairly liberal save system, the fact that I can't just go back to a certain point and stop and just be like, this is my stopping point. I'm going to stop here. I wish that was a game that had some kind of maybe backtrack / fast travel mechanic, but it doesn't. And it's a
What
linear
we
game.
used to do when we played Far Cry, and streamed it all, what we did was when we were at the end of the session, we'd fast travel back to a settlement, whatever was probably closest to our next objective,
Yeah,
and that's when we would call it.
and that
So
makes sense.
having
Yeah.
that as an option, yeah, that's a great idea to just sort of silo things so that you don't get back the next week and think, oh, where was I supposed to be?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm always glad when a game has a good fast travel system, especially when fast traveling also saves. That's also very nice. Like I think Far Cry did that. Like when you got to a settlement, it would save it there, right? I think that's how that worked. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would save on exit too.
Oh, did it?
As long as you were in a settlement, in a
Oh.
safe area, not in combat, then it would save on exit.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. So are there any games in particular where you liked fast traveling around? Guys?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. You first, Julie.
Well, I wanted to point out that I liked and let me explain a little bit here.
Okay.
There's a game I like that I play Starfield, played through it a couple times. It has fast travel, and I wish it didn't, right?
Oh.
Because I like the way Star Trek Online does fast travel, is that you can recall to certain places, like where your home world is, but there needs to be a happy medium in games, to me, that are space travel, because I don't want it to take so long that I can go to work and come home and I'm still not there, but like Elite Dangerous. But I like the way that Star Trek Online did it, because they had like this overlay, and it just was enough to make you feel that you were actually going places. Because with the fast travel in Starfield, I feel like all I'm doing is going across the street. Or in No Man's Sky, is I'm actually fast traveling. I like the way they do it. I'm going to another solar system instead of just another planet. So my two favorites, the way they handle it, are Star Trek Online, and I really like the way No Man's Sky does it.
And with No Man's Sky, they've got a couple of ways of fast travel too. Because you can warp to a system, you get to the station there, and once you've been in the system, you can warp to that station from any other station in the game as long as they're on the same network. Pirate stations have their own network, which is why I have to specify that. So you can warp between pirate stations you've been to, and you can warp between the lawful stations you've been to, but you can't warp between them with the portal network. But you can go the long way with your warp drive.
Actually, No Man's Sky is the example that I would have put on the list first. I don't recall any other games that does it in such a good way that is integrated into the gameplay.
Yeah, I agree. It feels very in universe. They did a great job with making it feel like it's an actual part of the actual unit. What's the word for that? There's a word.
Immersion?
No.
Immersion,
Well, no.
maybe? No.
No. What's the
You're
word?
thinking diegetic, but that's diegetic is not quite it.
Not quite it. Okay. But it's not like you just open a map, pick it, done, and that's it.
Plus, when you use your pulse drive in No Man's Sky, it takes a little while to get between planets. It's not instantaneous, and there are a lot of events that occur while you're pulse driving between planets. So it takes a little while, just enough to feel that you're actually going someplace, but not enough so that it's going to waste my time. And so that's what I like about it.
And there are events that you can only trigger when you're in pulse drive mode.
Oh, that's
You
right.
must be in pulse drive mode to see things like some of the traveling traders or the derelict freighters that can be landed on and explored. They act like dungeons. And those you can only access by going into pulse drive. Your ship scans them, and then you exit pulse drive in order to interact with the thing.
So it kind of makes the fast travel itself part of the gameplay loop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
One of the things I loved most is even if you were on an exploring spree, let's say you made 15, 20 jumps, you docked at a station and just entered the portal and could fast travel back to your base. And that's a great option.
But let's also not forget the Stargate, which I like about this is what you can do with their Stargate is each world will have a particular address, and that's fine. And I can get between worlds I've been to before. But I can dial up just random little symbols on this Stargate and go, it's like playing Explorer Roulette. And that's why I like the Stargate fast travel in No Man's Sky as well.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. And the other thing is when you take screenshots, it gives a screenshot that has the little address at the bottom left of it.
Really?
Also,
yeah.
Also, if you know what the code is, there's like 256 galaxies. You have to know somebody that's already been in the last one to get to the last one. But if you know the code, there is a code from each Stargate that will take you automatically to the center of the universe.
Oh, really?
Well, right outside of it. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just trying to go from one universe to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, that makes it a lot easier.
When I did my permadeath run in No Man's Sky, I actually took the long way. I didn't do that. I could have, but I didn't.
And you can also travel by black hole.
Oh, yeah. There are lots of ways to get around in that game. And some of them were added. Like black hole travel was not there at launch. The portal network was very limited. Chris over on Twitch, the game on the stream is Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, which I was about to mention. Because that was the next game to be talked about. Because you can fast travel, you can take sublight to travel around, and whether or not you were going to encounter anything, it will drop you out of whichever mode you are in order to encounter that thing. So you're not actually missing any encounters by fast traveling.
Yeah, it's really nice. For the video I made here, I did both the autopilot and the sublight, just to show the examples of how well it works in this game. Such a good game.
I was even streaming it this morning on the Discord.
This doesn't get old.
I was actually thinking about this system because the first game I at least recall was the first Wing Commander.
Oh yeah, I guess that would count.
All previous games. You hadn't much option to fast travel in any way. Like just as examples, Elite or 60 Mercenary series, and the first Wing Commander with the autopilot actually introduced this mechanic, if I remember it correct.
Yeah, it's funny. There are a couple of flight sims that did the same thing. I think some of the LucasArts flight sims did that. I know EF 2000 had a similar mechanic where you could like skip to the next event.
And that's basically what RGO does.
Yeah, exactly.
Traveling around.
Yeah, if you guys haven't played Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, do yourself a favor and buy it as soon as it's on sale. It's on sale right now on GOG, but it will probably be on sale next week as part of the big Steam summer sale. So,
and I feel obligated to point out that it's also on Switch.
But it has never been on sale on Switch, not once.
Yeah.
It also, I should mention, plays best with a gamepad. So don't expect going in with keyboard and mouse as the primary control scheme. If you play with a gamepad, it is optimized for that, and you really should play with a gamepad.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's like you can play it with anything. You can play it with mouse and keyboard. You can play it with a full HOTAS. You can play it with anything. But it is absolutely designed for a gamepad, as Spat said, and it is just wonderful on a gamepad. Like if Free Space 2 didn't exist, this would probably be my favorite space dogfighting game. You know, I mean, it's hard to top Free Space 2, obviously, but I mean, such a good game.
It's the only game in the universe that has a ship named after me in it.
but yeah, it has a. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's great. It's a great game. It's really, really good.
It's so good. And again, the fast travel system is fantastic because whether you do the full on autopilot or you do the sublight thing, and I would do both because sometimes a really great song comes on. I'm like, I don't want to skip this song. I want to listen to this song. So I'm going to do sublight. It's a nice upgrade from the original game that only had the sublight method of traveling around, which I think some people complained about. Chris,
Yeah.
Elite Dangerous never did it for you. Yeah, it didn't really do it for any of us either. God, we could have a whole. We have had whole podcasts about how disappointing Elite Dangerous is.
Not one.
Elite disappointing.
There is one method of fast travel that is just purely for fun, and I used to do this all the time.
Yeah,
and it's in Lord of the Rings Online. And I got this from some event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it is an enormous cask of some kind of liquor. And the thing is, if you drank from it, you would immediately pass out and appear in various different places in the world. And it was, sometimes it was just in town. Well, a couple of times I appeared in the middle of Moria. One time on top of a pillar surrounded by wolves. And it was just for nothing but fun. And that's the most fun I've ever had with fast travel.
Wow, I've played a lot of Lord of the Rings Online, and I never knew that was a thing. I've never even heard of that.
It was from an event, and and soon as Lord of the Rings Online came out, I said, I'm getting one of the lifetime passes, and I don't know if you can still do it, but you'd get so much money.
You sadly can't. No.
You get so much money if you were a lifetime subscriber every month, and you could, at the time, anyway, you could buy the next expansion with the in-game currency, and that's why I played up until I ran out of content. And one of the other people in my I forget what to call them, but the guild, I finished it with my main character, and she says, well, don't your other characters want to play through all the content too? And I say, well, you understand, I am the other characters, and no, I don't want to repeat everything I just did. But yes, I had a great time with that particular mechanic.
Well, you know, they've added several expansions over the last few years. Like so many. They just added one like earlier this year, late last year. They just keep adding to it.
See, here's the problem, though. When I try and go back sometimes, and without being too much of a downer, in World of Warcraft, for example, there was this woman who was kind of like the matriarch of the whole group, and she died. And after she died, that she didn't tell anybody she was sick, and the whole group fell apart. And when I tried to go back to Lord of the Rings online, I said, well, where is everybody? And they said, this is it, the two of us, you're number 3. And I said, well, we used to play World of Warcraft all the time, Fran and I, and she turns to me the other day and said, well, do you ever miss WoW? And I said, no, I don't miss WoW. I miss the community. And that's why this community is so important to me, because it's not the game, it's the community I'm in while I'm playing the game.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, if you have a set community, and you played that one game, yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. Anyway, so back to fast travel. I'm kind of running out of thoughts on it, honestly. What about you guys? Any thoughts or questions about fast travel? Because my brain is not 100% today.
Well, the thing is, I remember Vanguard, and I could be wrong. It's been such a long time ago, but I don't recall there being much fast travel in that at all. And I know I brought this up last time, but the thing is, in Skyrim, I walk everywhere or take a slow carriage with that mod I brought up. And because I can walk in any given direction, and I will run into something to do. But there's a lot of games like that where it's like big for big's sake, and there was just miles and miles and miles of nothing. And I remember also what happened in Ultima Online, because housing was not instant like it is everywhere else. And so you would have the game turned into this enormous megalopolis, and all of the wild areas that people could put a house, they did put a house, and it kind of ruined the game for me. There wasn't fast travel in that game, but I kind of wish there was, because I just wanted to get past all the housing. But I think what the one game that does it for me is there's a fine balance between the Elite Dangerous, which is tedious and boring, and something like Starfield. I just don't want to get there that fast. I want to make it feel like I'm somehow participating in the game. And that's why I like No Man's Sky. With it, when you warp between planets, it looks like the Doctor Who kind of thing. And much to my chagrin, when I got a new computer that didn't last as long, because I kind of like that it took a while to get to the next solar system.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I wanted to point out about Starfield's fast travel is it is basically the same as the fast travel that's been used in their prior games, like the Fallout series and in the Elder Scrolls series. It's basically you point to a thing on the map that you want to fast travel to. As long as you can fast travel there, you get there. And Starfield's the same way. But then again, with Starfield, they've also got the fact that you are dealing with multiple star systems. So I can sort of see why it's not it is instant rather than effectively instant rather than you going there the long way.
So
I haven't
good.
I haven't played in a while, but the one thing I really want in Starfield when I go back to it is, for God's sakes, give me some kind of thing with the wheels on it once I hit the planet.
Oh, the vehicles are something that they have said are going to be coming at some point.
So
because I got rock solid tired of having to, because some of these quests is like you got to go to the far end of the planet over here, and then the far end of the planet over here, and the far end of the planet here, and I said, "Hell with it, I'm not doing the quest."
well, it's more traversal and less fast travel, but I would like to bring up Spaceborne 2 because there are multiple ways to get around in that game. If you're going to a specific planet, you can, most of the time you're doing like this the sublight thing in Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, but once you land on a planet and you warp to the planet, so you're like it's kind of a cheat, but you zip to the planet, you land somewhere, but your ship has a little a hover bike that you could just deploy anywhere and take and fly it and drive it anywhere. It's really great. But another thing about Spaceborne 2 is even though they've got like jump gates to take you from one system to another, you can also manually warp from one system to another if it's close enough. It's a lot longer. Like it's a 20-minute trip versus a 30-second trip, but it's a thing you can do in that game. So I kind of appreciate it has all these options for getting around. But yeah,
regarding Spaceport 2, I really love all the options. I mean, it's similar in a lot of ways to No Man's Sky in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the instant teleporting and whatnot like No Man's Sky does. You actually have to like fly to a place.
Right.
But
Right,
usually flying to a place doesn't take that long if you just jump, like go to the jump gates and jump there. So it's not quite fast travel, but there are slower methods if you want, if you wish, to get to a place. So yeah, you guys talking about Starfield and No Man's Sky, I was like, oh yeah, Spaceborne 2 kind of does some of these things, but your ship already has a hover bike, which is nice, which is really great. Oh, and you also have a jet. I was gonna say you also have a jetpack. When you're on a plane, you can just activate your jetpack and fly around like Superman. It's great.
I mean, Spaceborne 2 is always 2 leaps ahead of Starfield.
It's so far ahead of everything, in my opinion. It's so far ahead of so much. Oh my god, that game.
And I know I'm probably in the minority, but I've always enjoyed traveling by Chocobo.
Yeah.
Well, I did it when they were new, so playing the original, when they were introduced in 4, I believe, was the first time they were introduced as a travel mechanic where you could summon them and then ride them around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a thing. And then you travel around using those primarily until you got the airship. And then you travel around via airship.
Oh, wow.
So that's more of a traversal thing, but there's no fast travel.
Oh, yeah. God, those old games that didn't have any fast travel, how did we even live? Like, like I'm just thinking of Starflight with its massive map. And it's like, okay, I need to get over there. Well, I'll go make some coffee and just set my ship to go for a while.
There was fun that
Go ahead, Julie.
Well, I was going to say, in a game that I used to play, World of Warcraft, there was something we did that avoided fast travel altogether, and we had this huge guild, and we all got together and we all rolled up level 1 gnomes, and we started at one end of the Horde lands and ran all the way to the other and see who could make it there alive. And it was kind of like a little race, and that was the one time avoiding fast travel that I actually had a lot of fun.
Right.
What I was going to add was I actually thought of a game that used a fast travel mechanic even potentially before Ultima 3 did. And that was the original Star Raiders. Because you could warp everywhere in that.
Oh. Oh, yeah. I mean, for the time, that was revolutionary. Absolutely revolutionary. You know, for the time. Oh, yeah, Star Raiders. So we should probably start wrapping up. Is there anything anyone else wanted to say about fast travel before we wrap up?
I'm good.
I'm fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
We stretched it out, you guys. We took the barest thread of a topic and stretched it out to almost an hour. Well done. Well done, us.
Well, we actually did have a lot to
Yay,
say.
us.
just
I
to be
know.
fair.
It's just funny. So next week, friends, don't know yet because I've invited a guest on, but we haven't cemented when they're coming on yet. So I'm gonna offer that slot to them, but I don't know if they're gonna take it. So I don't know yet. But if not, I have an idea for a topic. So one way or another, we'll do something and it'll be fun. But I just don't know what it is yet. And tomorrow on the show, tomorrow on the stream, I hope it's 1.0. I just checked and it wasn't when I tried it. Workers and Resources Soviet Republic comes out tomorrow. And I have a code that's supposed to get me the 1.0 version early. But it's still like 0.9 something. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just play that tomorrow. I don't know. One way or another, we'll play something fun. So I hope you all have a great day. Thanks in the chat, as always. I hope you all have a great day. Be safe, be well, take care of each other. Please get vaccinated if you haven't already. We're still in a pandemic. There's still people dying. So please get vaccinated if you haven't already. Get your shots. Wear your masks. Thank you, as always, to our patrons for literally helping pay for things like Restream and electricity. And always remember to wear your helmet. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.